Ever wondered how frequently a newborn needs to be fed? Or perhaps you're puzzled about when to introduce solid food to your little one. Feeding a baby is not a one-size-fits-all concept. It's a highly individual process, unique to each baby and family. The world of baby nutrition is a complex one, filled with a myriad of questions, doubts, and uncertainties. But there's no need to panic or feel overwhelmed. Unraveling the mystery of baby feeding schedules can sometimes feel like you're trying to decode an ancient language. It can be a daunting task, filled with a lot of trial and error. But rest, you're not alone on this journey. Every parent, guardian, or caregiver has been in your shoes at some point, trying to decipher the best feeding routine for their little one. The first few months with a newborn are an extraordinary period, a whirlwind of experiences, filled with an array of emotions, joy, surprise, and sometimes a bit of confusion. Feeding a newborn is not just about nutrition. It's also about creating a bond, establishing routines, and understanding your baby's needs and cues. The frequency, quantity, and type of feedings greatly vary, depending on your baby's age, weight, and overall health. The journey from breastfeeding or bottle feeding to introducing solid foods is an essential part of your baby's development. One of the most frequently asked questions revolves around feeding schedules. How often should you feed your newborn? When should you introduce solid foods? What are the best practices for feeding a baby? These are all valid questions, and it's absolutely normal to ask them. You'd be surprised to know that even experienced parents grapple with these questions. The world of nutrition can seem overwhelming at first, but with the right guidance and knowledge, it becomes much easier to navigate. Remember, every baby is different. What works for one may not work for another. It's about finding the balance that works best for your baby and your family. So let's unscramble this puzzle, one step at a time. With patience, persistence, and a little bit of guidance, you can master the art of feeding your newborn with ease and confidence. There's no definitive answer or formula. It's all about understanding your baby's cues and responding appropriately. In the initial phase, newborn babies require nourishment every 2 to 3 hours. This may seem like an overwhelming amount of feeding times, but it's important to bear in mind the reason behind this. Their minute stomachs are simply unable to accommodate a large volume of milk, thus necessitating the need for more frequent feeding. The science behind this is quite simple. Just like how a smaller car has a smaller fuel tank and needs to be refueled more often, newborn babies have smaller stomachs that need frequent refueling with nourishment their healthy growth and development. Consider it as nature's intricate way to ensure they receive the right amount of nutrition every few hours. This constant feeding cycle might appear to be an excessive share of demands on your time and energy. It could be disheartening at times, especially when sleep deprivation kicks in. The nights might seem long, and the days may blur into one. But it's crucial to remember that it's all a part of their growth process. Newborns depend entirely on this frequent feeding to meet their nutritional needs. During this phase, often referred to by childcare experts and pediatricians as on-demand feeding, role of the caregiver is pivotal. You are their primary source of nutrition, comfort, and love. This period is characterized by responding to their needs promptly and ensuring they are well fed and content. Undeniably, this phase can be somewhat overwhelming. New parents might feel a mix of emotions, frustration, even a tiny hint of resentment at times. But it's important to remember that these feelings are normal. After all, you're adjusting to a new rhythm of life. A life that now includes a tiny human being entirely dependent on you. But there's a silver lining to this intense period. Not only does regular feeding contribute to a baby's health, but it also creates an opportunity for bonding. Every time you feed your baby, you are also nurturing your relationship. You're learning to understand their cues, their likes, dislikes, and their unique personality. In the grand scheme of things, this on-demand feeding phase is but a tiny blip. It's a challenging yet beautiful period that doesn't last forever. It will gradually fade as your newborn grows and their feeding patterns become less frequent, more predictable. So, in these initial days of new parenthood, hang in there. It doesn't last forever. As your baby grows, around the 2-month mark, you might notice a slight change. This change is subtle, but it's an indication of how your little one is evolving. Just like a flower blooming in spring, your baby is starting to exhibit the first signs of growth and development. It's an exciting time for you as a parent, seeing your baby grow and change, transforming from a newborn into a little person with their own characteristics and behavior. Now, let's talk about feeding habits. Just as your baby's physical attributes start to take shape, so too do their feeding habits. Initially, feeding your baby can often seem like a constant task. It's a cycle of feeding, burping, soothing, and then feeding again. But around the 2-month mark, you will begin to see a shift in this cycle. Instead of feeding your little one almost constantly, you might see that the intervals between feedings start to lengthen. To be more specific, the feeding frequency might reduce to every 3 to 4 hours. This doesn't mean your baby is eating less. On the contrary, it indicates that your baby's stomach is growing. It's an important development milestone, shows your baby is getting bigger and stronger. With a more substantial stomach, your baby can hold more milk at each feeding. It's not just about their stomach growing, it's about their entire digestive system maturing. A larger stomach means that your baby can drink more milk, which in turn provides the calories and nutrients needed for their growth and development. So, every feed becomes more efficient. Your baby can take in more nutrients in one sitting, allowing you to have a little more time in between feedings. It's a subtle but significant change, signaling that your baby's growth is progressing well. This is a sign that your baby's stomach is growing and can hold more milk at each feeding. Following this, we delve into the significant event of introducing solid food to your baby's diet, an essential and memorable stage in your young one's growth and development. This remarkable juncture typically presents itself around the time when your baby turns 6 months old. It's a time of joy, excitement, and a little bit of apprehension as you witness your little one embarking on a new culinary journey. In this phase, it's crucial to remember that your child's diet won't be completely transformed overnight. Transition should be gradual and carefully monitored to ensure your baby's comfort and health. The first step in this process is introducing pureed fruits. Fruits such as bananas, apples, and peaches are excellent choices, as they are not only packed with vital nutrients, but also have a pleasant sweet taste is likely to appeal to your baby. Next, turn your attention to pureed vegetables. Sweet potatoes, squash, and peas are fantastic options that will provide your baby with essential vitamins and minerals, as well as introducing them to a variety of textures and flavors. It's important to remember that every child is unique in their taste preferences, so don't be disheartened if your little one initially rejects certain foods. Following fruits and vegetables, we recommend introducing grains into your baby's diet. Foods like rice, oatmeal, and barley are easily digestible and provide a good source of energy. Remember, introducing solid foods to your baby is not meant to replace the necessity of breast milk or formula in their diet, but rather to supplement it, enriching their nutritional intake and paving the way for a healthy eating habit in the future. When your baby reaches around 9 months of age, there will be a marked shift in their ability to handle a greater variety of food textures. This is a crucial milestone in their early life growth and development. A noteworthy change you'll observe is their readiness to try and accept foods with different consistencies. Instead of solely relying on purees and soft foods, you can now confidently expand their menu to include mashed foods. Mashed foods serve as an excellent introduction to more textured foods. The texture is just right. Not too tough, but not too soft either. It gives the baby an opportunity to exercise their jaws and gums, preparing them for even harder textures down the line. You can try mashing fruits like bananas and avocados, like cooked carrots and sweet potatoes. These are nutritious options that your baby will find both enjoyable and beneficial. Now, you can also introduce small soft chunks. These will challenge your baby's chewing capabilities a bit more, but it's an essential step in their development. These can be bits of soft-cooked vegetables or tender pieces of meat. The chunks should be small enough to prevent choking, but large enough to allow the baby to practice their chewing skills. Remember to always supervise your baby while they're eating, especially when introducing new textures. Ensure their safety and help you gauge their response to the new foods. If they show signs of discomfort or difficulty, it might be best to revert to softer foods for a while longer before trying again. Additionally, At this 9-month juncture, your baby will also be ready to incorporate a more structured eating schedule. This would consist of 3 meals a day. This doesn't mean that their intake of breast milk or formula should decrease. On the contrary, these should continue to supplement the baby's diet, providing essential nutrients and hydration. In fact, you might find that your baby's demand for breast milk or formula may even increase as they start eating more solid foods. This is a completely normal part of their growth path. In summary, around 9 months, your baby will be ready to explore more textured foods. You can introduce mashed foods and even small, soft chunks. Alongside this dietary change, your baby will also be ready to move to 3 meals a day, supplemented by breast milk or formula. This stage is an exciting time in your baby's development, full of new experiences and flavors. Finally, by the time your baby turns 1, they should be ready to join the family at the dining table, eating a variety of foods from all food groups. This incredible journey of food exposure commences as soon as the baby enters the world, gradually evolving into a more complex feeding schedule. Initially, a newborn's diet predominantly comprises breast milk or formula, provided through frequent feedings that harmonize with their minuscule stomach capacity. These initial feedings that happen regularly form the foundational bedrock to their nutritional well-being. As your baby grows, their dietary needs start to change, and their feeding schedule begins to transform accordingly. A significant milestone in this transition is the introduction of solid foods, typically happening around 6 months of age. This journey from liquid to solid is a fascinating one, rife with a plethora of tastes, textures, and aromas that your baby will begin to explore. It's a gradual progression, starting with pureed foods, moving on to mashed and finally chopped foods, each stage introducing a new texture and expanding their palate. What's worth noting is that while the baby ventures into the world of solid foods, breast milk or formula continues to constitute a critical part of their diet, supplementing the nutritional gaps. By the time they reach the 1-year mark, they should ideally be eating a variety of foods, albeit in smaller portions, equivalent to the family's meals. However, it's essential to acknowledge that every child is unique and might not strictly follow these timelines. If you ever find yourself doubting or uncertain about the next phase in your baby's feeding journey, always remember it's best to consult with a healthcare professional. After all, feeding is not just about nourishment, it's also an opportunity to bond with your little one, creating lasting memories along the way. We hope you're finding this feeding journey as fascinating as we do. At this point, we'd like to remind you that we're here to support you in every step of your baby's feeding journey. If you found this video helpful and informative, we'd appreciate it if you could hit the like button below. Your likes help us reach more parents like you who are navigating through the exciting adventure of feeding their little ones. And if you haven't done so already, do consider subscribing to our channel for more valuable content like this. We regularly update our channel with a variety of videos, all aimed at helping you provide the best care possible for your precious ones. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell. This ensures that you're always up to date with our latest videos and never miss out on any crucial information that can aid you in your parenting journey. Remember, every baby is unique, and the feeding journey can vary from one to another. So, if you have any questions or doubts, don't hesitate to reach out to a healthcare professional. In the meantime, we're here to provide as much information and support as we can. Thank you for being a part of our community. Your journey is our journey, and we're thrilled to be a part of it. Stay tuned for more. And until next time, happy feeding.